What's up, it's your boy Super Mario 1990 coming at y'all with an NCAA football comeback reaction, y'all. EA Sports is actually coming back with NCAA football. Now, there's been talk about it a couple of years ago because what happened was a bill got passed back in 2019 that allowed college players to actually get profit from their likeness and their names, finally. So with that being said, a lot of people were wondering, like, well, if they can get paid for their names and everything now, can, sports come back, like video game college sports come back? And NCAA football was like one of the main requested ones. It was the highest selling one. And NCAA football basically, I think, was the only collegiate football game actually ever made for all these years. And then 2014, NCAA 14 anyway, that was the last one to ever release, because what happened was there was a player, a former college player, Ed O'Bannon, who found out his likeness was being used, and he was basically looking like, yo, like, they using my likeness out here in these games, but I ain't getting no pay for like what's up with that. So he had a lawsuit against EA Sports. EA had a $60 million settlement, so obviously that hurt him a lot. And so they were trying to be really careful with the likeness and everything, and what ended up happening was they were just like, you know what, we're just gonna have to shut it down. So they stopped making NCAA football after 14, and now they finally have the rights to do it again. Now the license includes pretty much everything that it did back then. It's the schools, the traditions, the jerseys, the logos, but it still excludes the players. Or at least that's what I think anyway. They said they're not gonna use players' names and likeness still. So I don't know if that's because the license really excludes it, or if they're just trying to be careful because they don't want the lawsuit problems again. But nonetheless, college football is supposed to be coming back, but it won't be back until, they're saying, at the very soonest, maybe 2023. Now, if you know college football, you know that's a fall sport. So we're talking about NCAA football 24 coming out fall 23. That's the very soonest anyway. So it's a ways away. I think really all the hype and hoopla is just about the fact that they're confirmed to actually come back and do it now finally. But developing the game is a whole other issue in itself. Of course, that takes time, and they've been out of the rotation since because 14 would be 2013. So yeah, so they've been out of the rotation since 2013. So they ain't made a football game in nearly a decade. So it's kind of like you got to dust off everything. You got to get reacclimated. And then, of course, you're making a game for a new generation. Now, you're making it with more upscale and more improved graphics. And then you've been away from the game for how many years? So now you got to get all of those assets back, improved graphics. I'm pretty sure it takes a whole lot. So I'm pretty sure that's what, all of those years of development is coming into. And then they still got to figure out exactly how they're going to implement their new license without getting in trouble. I'm pretty sure that's going to still be a fear too. So that's going to be all good. I can't wait for it. Honestly, what I'm hoping for with a new NCAA football title, I really liked it. I pretty much like them to keep it the same as they did. The last one I played was NCAA football 12. I loved Road to Glory. I love franchise mode. I pretty much just hope they just keep it the same with just updated graphics. I'm hoping we still get the customization options because, they was being slick. That's why they got sued. They was being slick. They did use likeness. Like, you could tell if you've watched a lot of college football, or if you just were aware of certain, players from certain schools who were doing really good and you knew they were being recruited by the pros, they were actually secretly in the game if you paid enough attention. Like, I remember back when I played NCAA football 09, I noticed Tim Tebow was in the game for the Florida Gators. Now, he didn't actually have his name in there, but if you played the game, if you used the Gators, there was a white quarterback, number 15. He was left-handed and can scramble. It's like, that's Tim Tebow. Like, he plays just like Tim Tebow and everything. Had the height, weight, everything. So it's kind of like they were in the game, but they were trying to be real slick with the QB number 15. Or if you had the option to use auto-generated names, they would just bring up like all these random names for every single player. But if you knew enough and you were, a big enough fan, you went in, like, that's what I did. I went in, I would like go into certain schools, pick a certain player, like, oh, this is such and such. This is Tim Tebow. This is Colt McCoy. I would put their names in, all the players that I really liked and watched at the time and followed, and I would just put their names in. Same with college hoops, which is probably why college basketball had the same issue too, because I was in college back in '09, and I had College Hoops 2K8, which was the last one. I was still playing that because that was the last one ever made from 2K anyway. And I was a big Steph Curry fan back in the day when he was with Davidson. Now it's crazy because he was really good in college, but I didn't think, like, I knew he was going to get to the pros, but I didn't think he was going to be like a superstar pro player. Like, he a franchise player, man, got multiple rings. He's a franchise player, dynasty leader, multiple MVP winner. I didn't know he was going to do all that. I thought he was just going to be like one of them, like, Derek Fisher cats, like, you know, kind of like a role player. He's good. He can hit them threes when you need him to, clutch, but kind of like stay in his lane. But I didn't know he was going to be like a superstar. So I was a huge Steph Curry fan back in college, but did not know he was going to blow up the way he did, you know, fast forward to today. But anyway, I saw like, oh, this guy kind of looks like Steph Curry, and he's got the Steph Curry's attributes. So I'd like put the name in, and then I would boost his shooting skills up a little bit, because at the time I felt like they were a little out of date a little bit, because it was 2K8, and I was in college in 2009, so he was on like he was on like next season anyway. About to go to the pros too. So yeah, I did that. So you can tell the likeness was actually used, and that's why they were sued. And so now they got to be really, really, really careful. So I'm doubting that you might even get customization options, maybe, because they could still get sued based off of what other people are doing, because they would want people to kind of like remove, you know, all those custom, you know, options and everything like that. You might have another lawsuit, but they would want to do their best to stay away from that potentially. But I'm hoping that we can still just get like the road to glory mode, the franchise mode. That's pretty much all I did with NCAA football. I do hope for a better scouting system though. That scouting system was weak, because you would spend all your hours and all your, you know, points recruiting like one local player, right? And you would think they're interested. You think that you're doing like the right things. And then out of nowhere, at the last second, they switch up on you and sign with a whole other school that they weren't even thinking about. And it's like, what's up with this? I thought we was bonding. And now you got to find that team that they signed to, and then try to play against that team and whoop that team to be like, yeah, you missing out. You should have came to us, bruh. But anyway, I just hope that they revamp that. Everything else can stay the same with, you know, better graphics. And of course, we still got the license to the schools and traditions. Hopefully that's still authentic. I thought they always did a pretty good job with that. And yeah, y'all, like, that's what's going on. And honestly, too, since we're bringing back college football, I hope too that there's talks of bringing back college basketball, because that's really where it was at for me. Like, I really like college basketball. This is what I watched a lot. 2K, man, they was the bomb when they did college hoops. Like, I hope 2K can bring back college hoops in light of this new bill that's been signed. Like, since EA Sports, NCAA football, like 2K, please, y'all, like, do something to get back college hoops. That would be nice. Like, we can get a college hoops game. I would much rather see that than EA Sports trying to go back and get March Madness, because honestly, NBA Live been slipping. Like, NBA Live with them, you don't know. Like, they used to be the king. And, you know, back then, if you would say, like, oh, NBA Live been coming out, you'd be like, what? Nah. Fast forward to today, NBA Live not coming out is, like, kind of routine. They didn't come out last year. Who knows if they're going to come out this year? Who knows if they're going to come out ever again? NBA Live just been slipping. So, if they try to get March Madness back and they ain't got NBA Live together, who knows how that's going to look? That's why, personally, I would rather see 2K get college hoops back and, you know, let that be that. But this is just wishful thinking. This is all speculation on my part. It's really, we just got football to look forward to, and that's not going to be till 2023 at the soonest. So we got to see how that goes first. But with college football too, I hope too that they still have that thing where you can export draft classes. Remember, like, exporting draft classes from like your franchise mode into the corresponding Madden. Like, if you had like Madden 06 and, you know, NCAA football 06. You can transfer, you know, that draft class to the pros to see how they do in franchise mode. If you like a certain player or want to like track their, you know, career in the NFL, or how Road to Glory did it, when like Road to Glory had you play in college, whatever position you wanted, and then you take that player after they graduate school or leave school or whatever. You go into the draft, you play for a pro team, and then carry your career on there. Hopefully they have that carryover progression. I'm pretty sure it should be a given, because Madden is still a thing, and Madden will always be a thing pretty much. And so I think that would like be pretty much a given. I hope so. I hope it's like it still runs smoothly. But yeah, y'all, that's my stuff right there. But yeah, y'all just let me know what y'all, expect from NCAA football going forward. Like, what y'all looking forward to, what features that you want to stay the same, what modes that you want to keep, what new things that they haven't done in the franchise, what they should implement. And, what was your favorite NCAA football? Mine was 12. I like that one a lot. But yeah, this your boy Super Mario 1990. I'm out. Peace in.